Hey, how's it going, man? Hey, thanks for coming to the channel. I appreciate it. So tonight, I just want to say to everybody, we got Donnie B here, Donnie B Collectibles. Man, it's been awesome just getting to know you on Instagram. How you doing? How's your day going?
Man, I'm doing all right, dude. I'm having a good day, kind of a recuperation day. Yesterday, I went out doing the last bit of filming for a pretty big project that we're getting ready to release. Me and my buddy Card Killer at
Okay.
Card Killer, starting off hot with a shout out. Me and my boy Card Killer were actually not only giving away this Ken Griffey Jr. Signed rookie card already
Nice.
authenticated by Beckett,
Nice.
but we're not doing your typical, should I say, tag three people. No, and there's no shame on that. I've done plenty of those.
Yeah.
you know, done plenty of
Right.
those. But no, no, no. We spent I think we got this for around $300, and we're gonna make this fun. I mean, let alone how much time we put into this, but we're gonna make this into a physical treasure hunt, and we're gonna be releasing the video and the full set of clues here very, very soon. We've been talking about it for a while, but the time has come.
Nice.
So
That
yeah.
sounds awesome. That sounds like definitely a fun event. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get into just some of the questions. So just kind of start it off. I know you've been doing card art. How long you've been doing it, and what made you maybe get into it?
So it's a good question, man, and there's multiple ways that I could answer that question. Before I ever personally cut a card myself or made my own form of cards, I actually would commission artists, usually artists that have worked with tops. Maybe they've done some art in the museum collection or that caliber of artist, and I'd have them draw up a card of comedians. I work at a comedy club. I mean, I
Okay.
got my shirt says laugh. I like to promote positive energies. Like to promote laughter. So I would get these comedian cards drawn up, and then I'd get them signed because I started collecting the Allen and Ginter cards of comedians. And then when
Okay.
a cool comedian would come through, I'd want to add to my collection, but not necessarily did they have a card of their own. For example, we got Pauly Shore right here
Nice. Nice.
on his character from a Goofy movie. Show you a couple more. This is Theo Vaughn. I don't know if you're familiar. He's real funny.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think I've seen it before. Yeah.
his nickname is the Rat King. So that was really cool. And this is, dude. I got that made and signed in 2019. So that predates me making any cards of my own. I
Nice.
still had a pretty successful Instagram. I was probably around around 6 or 7 thousand followers at that time. and
Okay.
and, and it's funny because my page just transformed so many different times. I mean, it's not. I mean, as you can tell, it's not called Donnie B Artistry or Donnie B anything to do with that, man. I was literally starting off selling like signed jerseys, signed
Okay.
baseball, bobbleheads, 8x10s, like some serious collectibles, and then you know after I got done posting the inventory I had, which apparently wasn't that much, man. I probably posted like 70 posts, and then I just started posting my cards, man, and everything that I thought was cool. And then some stuff I'd want to sell, some stuff I'd want to just post to flex, and it just became like a an influential card collector page.
Mm.
And simultaneously, I was friends with I'd say two or three, definitely less than five people that were making art with cards.
Mm.
One of them, as I mentioned, was named Card Killer. He might show up in the
Yeah, I think
chat.
he's in the chat now. So what's up, Card Killer? Thanks for joining us.
That's my buddy. Yeah, he plays a big role in my story. I started auctioning off cards for him I guess around the same time, 2019, maybe. I mean, probably not earlier, probably 2019. And I want to say our first auction predates any of the Tops projects, any of the Project 70s, Project 2020s. And he was making these significant pieces, man. Very, very cool stuff. And he just, he was having difficulty marketing it.
Yeah.
And I was just blown away. I'm like, yo, how is that stuff just not flying off the shelves? And
Mm.
I mean, simple mathematics. I think at the time I had probably twice as many followers as him, and I said, why don't I put this in front of my followers, in front of my audience, and let's let them determine the value.
Got it.
And right off the bat, we had a pretty strong reception. And it's I think it went from like 150 to 250. I can't even remember at this point, but they kept increasingly doing better and better, and it got to the point to where he got his commission list just booked up. That dude doesn't even have time to make to add more commissions. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but he's booked, man. He's booked solid. And I started doing that for other artists. One of them named Third Dan Art. His name is Dan, very talented artist. And man, and then the pandemic started rolling in, man. It started hitting hard, and I started selling off my cards. While I was happy to promote for people like Card Killer, and every time we did an auction, man, it was a team affair. So we were splitting it 50-50. So we equal parts wanted them to do well. But I mean, I wasn't making my own art, and we'd sell a piece of his, maybe once a month, every other month, something like that. So I was just selling off my cards, man, selling off all the Ronald Acuna autograph cards that I had accumulated. I mean, I was going hard collecting that, dude,
Yeah.
and it got to the point where I'm like, man, if I'm selling cards for these guys, selling some card art for these guys, and Card Killer, man, like that kind of art, it's still, I mean, to this day, that piece that I showed you, he made before I made a piece, it's still miles ahead of me, miles
Mm.
ahead of me. But then when a few other artists started popping up, like Third Dan Art, Modern Baseball art, which I think Sharkbait talked to you about a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh, I started getting art from them, and I would study it, man. And I'm like, what separates me from them? And I'm like, they're
Mm.
doing, it, you know.
Mm.
Uh, I'm not saying they're not incredibly creative, but I felt like I had a creative outlet in my brain, kind of waiting to be unlocked, and with such a strong passion for cards, I mean, I just kept cutting them up, man, just cutting them,
Mm.
and really, man, I think one of your questions was what do you get asked commonly,
Mm.
and it really is, how do I get started? How do I get involved with something like this? And the
Got it.
truth is, man, I mean, I got an X-Acto blade from Chinatown when I first started. It's literally like $3, man. It's
Yeah.
horrible. Don't recommend it at all. But
Right.
but I mean, I made my first like 5 pieces with it, and I mean, they're not the most amazing pieces in the world, but they showed me that I have I have something going there, and so I got the proper tools, got a real X-Acto blade, a metal ruler, and a bunch of refractors, man, and I got to cutting.
No.
And that's like the best advice I could say is just start. And I would say cut and make 10 pieces. And if the 10th piece that you make isn't exceptionally better, I probably would stop doing it.
Mm.
Because
Got it.
you're not creating. And I would imagine I know my 10th piece was way better than my first piece. So, and it's funny, man. Me and my buddy Card Killer keep talking about it. We started a page on Instagram that now has about 12,000 followers, called the Card Art Gallery, Sports Card Art Gallery, and we're promoting a bunch of different artists all the time there. And
Nice.
yeah, man, it's become such a it's become so much bigger than just the two of us.
Mm.
And we felt, what better way to personify the movement than to start a page just for it, and try to highlight all of the cool card artists that we come up with. But we all really take influence from each other, really.
Nice. That's cool. So when was so let's talk about your Instagram page right now. So right now, just so everyone knows, maybe some people don't know, you're at about I think 36,000 followers, and
36.5, yeah.
36.5, and that started when. So if you don't mind just telling us, when did that actual account start? Was that 2019 as well, or
Man, I want to say it was either the butt end of 2018 or the very beginning of 2019.
okay?
Um, yeah, because I can remember having certain amounts at that time, and then running into Card Killer. We ran into each other like the first week that we both started, so we have a lot of like same anniversary dates of when we started and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, man, we've had it going for about I guess 3.5 years now,
Okay.
and the first day I snagged 100 followers. I came into it incredibly determined. um, I actually had wanted to be selected for um, uh, being the head of social media for the comedy club, and they didn't even think about it twice. They didn't even, they didn't even consider it. And I felt like I had something to offer when it came to social media.
Yeah.
So first day comes, I get 100 followers. I'm like, okay, let's do this.
Nice.
And I didn't think that I thought it was unrealistic to think that I could get 100 followers a day.
Mm.
But I thought about it, and I'm like, I bet you I could get 30 followers a day. So that's exactly what I did, man, and I hit it hard for a long time. I can't say I'm as actively determined to keep that number growing at that rate by doing that tactic. I mean, I still show as much love to other pages as I can, but I definitely had to limit the time that I was spending on social media to get those numbers, man. Like, I mean, in all honesty, like it wasn't healthy.
Got it. So okay, so going back to just kind of the card art, the art part of it. In your past, did you have other avenues of art, whether it was drawing or painting? Did you ever get into anything like that?
Man, I always had a love for graffiti. I can't say I was ever talented at it.
Yeah.
Uh, but as far as artistic outlets go, I mean, I originally went to school for digital audio production,
Okay.
and I definitely can consider music to be an art. So I, initially intended to make a career out of music, um, and I've written, I mean, more poetry than I could count. So definitely artistic outlets. But I'd be
Yeah.
lying if I told you that yeah, I had a background um, painting up, any illustrations. In fact, I mean, I'm incredibly jealous of anybody that does have that skill. It's something that I wish I had to this day.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I mean, man, don't I actually have a brother who's a really good artist, and he can draw, he can paint, and man, I can't even I can't even hold a pencil right. You know what I mean? Like I just I don't know. I mean, definitely everyone has their own talent, so that's something that we have to definitely consider.
Yeah,
Um,
ironically, I mean, for me, like it's hard for me to like keep my hand at a 100% steady, steady rate. Which I thought would make it incredibly difficult to be cutting out stuff with an X-Acto blade. Um,
right.
but it's really unique how you find your rhythm, and it's a lot of give and go with the support that you're putting into the knife. And there's a lot of like getting comfortable with it, and yeah, but I'm curious to see if I put effort into illustrating stuff now, if I'd be any better after having this experience with the X-Acto blade. It'd be kind of
Got it.
something to consider,
Yeah. All right. Well, why don't we show off some of the items that you have? I know you have some things you want to show. Maybe we can show that and give people an opportunity to see what those look like.
Yeah, man. As we were discussing earlier, I don't know of the flip cam on this deal, so I'm gonna just go ahead
No
and
worries.
give it to you like this. Starting with Dan Marino. Can you see it well?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, we got Dan the Man. We got Tim Brown rookie card. Coming into some Marvel. I hope there's not a glare. Is there a glare?
No, I don't really see much of a glare.
Cool. We got some Marvel there. Iron Man versus Mandarin. A little Barry Bonds. I kind of tried to make that one look like almost like a bobblehead in packaging.
Yeah,
Kind of cool. This one was one of my first big risks. I cut up a Dwyane Wade rookie card. This is an actual rookie card of Dwyane Wade.
nice,
And then this one's pretty special, man. This is Darth Vader from Star Wars, and
nice, nice.
this is going to be part of a bigger project that me and my buddy at Loyal Luke are doing, and we're doing a 30-piece project of Star Wars characters. So
Nice.
that's going to be a lot of work, a lot of fun. And then we got this one, man. This is the actual Tony Gwynn rookie card. I had
Wow.
a lot of fun with this one, man. To be honest with you, this is one of them that I'm really shocked didn't hasn't sold yet.
Hmm. It looks awesome.
Thanks, brother. I got the details around the little head part on the bottom left. I felt really good about that one. And then here's a nice little Luca piece I did a while back.
Nice.
Yeah, man. And then back here, man, this is where all the real fun is. This is all card art from different artists. And speaking of third dan art, I hope you can see it well. Can you see that Ronald Acuna piece pretty well?
Yeah, I can see it.
Beautiful. That is that piece. He and we just kept going back and forth through DMs, configuring that piece, and then he sent it to me, and I that was one of them that I studied along with that Daryl Strawberry piece. I
Hmm.
studied those two for a few weeks, and then after that, I kind of started giving it my own shot, and definitely it definitely didn't come at the snap of a fingertip. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I hear you.
Let me get set up.
So
Um,
I know you talked a little bit about um, just some of the projects you have going on. Do you have other, I don't know if you want to say like goals or things you're kind of shooting for? I know we're in the middle of the year here. Any other goals or projects that you're shooting for?
yeah, man. I mean, the National Card Show is coming up.
Yeah.
National Card Show Convention. That is something that actually Card Killer and I both attended last year together.
Nice.
We kind of, yeah, he lives in New York, I live in San Francisco, so we met up there and got a hotel in Chicago. It was,
Yeah.
and that was my first experience going to a national card show. Have you ever been to one?
Actually, I was there last year as well.
Dude, I mean that it's dang near life changing, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy. Definitely crazy. So did you guys set up a booth or did you just attend it?
No, we just attended, man. It's funny.
Okay.
Um, dude, as talented as Card Killer is, man, and I mean his commission rate has gotten up there. I don't even want to talk on it, numbers on his behalf. But that dude has so many incoming commissions that he doesn't have any inventory.
Okay. Wow.
He I'm telling you, man, he and I on a whole different level, and I have no problem saying it, man. I'll give credit where credit is due. I mean, that man, he puts in probably like 15 or more hours into his pieces. I cannot say that I do. I don't even know what I would do with 15 hours, man.
Hmm.
That's a good. I should challenge myself sometime to put 15 hours into a piece. For me personally, I would say between 3 and 4 hours, and that is not including a whole bunch of prep work that I do on separate occasions. As you could have probably told from a lot of my work, they involve a lot of refractor strips. So there are, sometimes I'll spend like days at a time just slicing up a bunch of refractors. I mean, for me, a good mail day is a box of refractors.
Got it.
uh, I mean, I still collect, and I have a very ironic collection that I still PC pretty heavy to this day.
Yeah.
Um, I myself am. Jeez, man, I'm about 1 week shy of being 6 years drug free, and I
Nice.
had I had a significant opiate problem, and man, the craziest thing is uh, this hobby of card collecting. It got involved right away, and it played a significant role in my whole recovery.
Oh, that's
Uh,
awesome, man.
yeah, what was the actual question that you asked?
Yeah, I was just wondering. The last thing that I asked was if you had any other goals or
Oh,
things for this year. You talked about nationals, um, but yeah, that was the last question I asked.
gotcha. I thought there was something else that you added prior to that.
And maybe
But
I did. I'm probably just forgetting. So sometimes you just forget things when you get older.
yeah, no, no, no. I get it, man. I get it. Uh, but yeah, I last that was the first national that I had attended, and yeah, we never really planned on setting up a booth, but it became a really big networking opportunity, and we ended up bumping elbows with a bunch of the tops artists, and did a bunch of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, thank you, Gail. Appreciate that.
So we got a question here. I know we
Yeah.
talked a little bit about it. Do you so other than collecting maybe cards and other things, what other things do you collect? Like, do you or how do you treat? I guess sorry, I'm kind of going all over the place, but I know people talk about cards as a hobby, but to me, I would say that this is kind of like part of your work, right? So
Yeah.
do you have other hobbies that aren't related to cards?
Um, that's a good question, man. So I do work at a comedy club,
Yeah,
and this is kind of a bummer, but um, about 2 weeks before the world shut down,
yeah,
I got to writing a set. I mean, I've worked at this comedy club for over 5 years now,
yeah,
and for the longest time I wanted to get up there, and I was given the opportunity to go up in an actual like showcase event, like not a open mic, just kind of skipping that whole level. And I wrote a like an 8 minute set, which is it's some would consider lengthy for like a first type of set,
yeah.
and ended up going up. I mean, it's on YouTube, man. I'll send it to you later if you want to see it.
You know what's
Uh,
funny is I stumbled upon it. I watched it earlier today.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, and it's funny, man. That first joke about the Michael Jordan rookie card, I wrote that while I was on my way to that event,
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, most I've worked at a major comedy club for a long time. Most comedians are doing the same set for like years at a time. They're not
yeah.
writing a freaking joke, on the way to the club that they're going to use for their opening bit.
Right,
Um,
right.
but it went well, man. I mean, you saw it. Like,
Yeah,
it definitely wasn't horrible. And if you knew that that was my first set, which now I guess I think it might have said, but I'm talking like that was the first time I picked up a microphone.
yeah.
So I feel like it went all right. And then get off stage, and I get asked to be in three other shows. Two of them,
Nice.
two of them would have been paid gigs, and I was pretty hyped, man. Like that's a nice little introduction, right?
Right,
Uh,
right.
and it was it was in front of about 130, 140 people.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, Jesus Christ, man, was I ever nervous? It's funny because you hear it all the time, but like it's a type of nerve that you really can't even put into words. It's one of those that like it almost just overcomes you, and you're just like, man, I got to get out of here. But
That's
it,
funny. No, I watched it, man. It was good. I mean, you couldn't really tell you were that nervous. I know you stuck with it. And you got some good laughs. So,
yeah,
uh, so is that something that you want to like pick back up or get back into?
yeah. The last thing I want to finish on from that story, the first off, yes, but uh, the dude throwing the event. His name is Tracy. He works in the like security department of the comedy club.
Okay.
He also is a show promoter, so he got me into he got me on the show. He obviously knew it was my first time. We talked about it, and I show up, and I see the set list, and I'm last. I'm like, oh, okay, or not last, but I'm like, like third to last, and there's like
Okay.
nine people on the list. So I'm like, cool, chilling, get to sit back, get some laughs, and then 15 minutes before the show changes it, made me go first,
Oh, that's not
just
right.
like that, dude. No, I was, man. So I mean, yeah, talk about nerves, dude. So just another thing that just it's either like a sink or swim type of deal. But to answer your question, man, I have a way of doing it in a very long manner. I would love to not only get back up and do comedy. I have aspirations of doing some type of collaboration show between comedy and sports cards, to
Hmm.
where the event is based around the hobby. Like all the comedians will be talking about collecting sports cards, and the woes that come with it. I mean, you collect sports cards, man. Like there's plenty of stuff. There's plenty of comedy, dude. There's plenty of
Right.
stuff. you know, uh, it's funny, and there's so many terms. I was talking about this with my brother. There's so many terms that we have that are like stupid inside terms that like no one would know, but they're almost
Yeah.
like secret code to us.
Hmm.
Like if I were to say to you, like if you just bought a card for me and I said, "Cool, F and F, no notes," you would know exactly what that meant, right?
Actually, I don't know what that means. F and F.
And then you're out of the club, dude. You're out of the circle. And how many
Time to end the interview.
how many people do we have in here?
How many people do we have in here? We only have four in here right now. Not
Hey,
that many.
out of four people, F and F, no notes. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I heard a beep.
Let's see. Hopefully, someone can save us here. We'll keep an eye on the chat and
Well,
see if anybody.
to put it very simply, it's when people pay through PayPal and they don't
Hmm.
want to they don't want to have to pay the fees. They
Oh,
ask.
friends and family.
Yeah.
There it is. Got it.
but a lot of people think they're super slick. I mean, I would never even write that. I would never even write, like, it's almost like a pretentious thing, like F and F, no notes, like a stupid thing. But either way, I feel like there's a lot of comedy to be talked about with sports card collecting and being sniped on auctions. Like there's a lot of banter that could be made. But beyond that, imagine, a fun little comedy show for about an hour. You get your laughs on, and then boom, lights go up, push the tables in, and you got a trade event for 2 hours.
Nice. That sounds like an awesome idea, man.
I truly believe so, man. I don't ever intend on making that my bread and butter by any means, but I think that would be just a very unique opportunity. And something there you go. And something like that, as you probably seen, and maybe you haven't, some of those videos and clips where people are getting caught selling fake cards, or
Mhm.
caught stealing, and you see it's a big spectacle. So something like that in San Francisco, you better believe you'd have to, invest in a lot of security, and
Mm.
not just big dudes. You got to get people that know what to look for too.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you could get the biggest sumo wrestler on the planet. He can't spot a fake Jordan rookie. Hell, I can't spot a fake Jordan rookie. Are you kidding me?
Exactly, exactly. No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good
Hey,
point.
and something like that would be, I mean, and you would hate to be the promoter that ran a show like that where someone, got schooled and lost a bunch of money. So there is a lot to think about, man. And that's why I never rushed into anything like that. But I certainly do have aspirations to start some type of event like that. But as far as collecting cards, man, oh, this is what I was getting back into about the sobriety. Oh man! Right after I got out of rehab, I watched the 30 for 30 documentary on Doc and Daryl, Doc Gooden and Daryl Strawberry.
Oh, okay.
Man, I couldn't help but see myself in them.
Mm.
Not anywhere near as talented as they were. I mean, hell, they literally. Do you know much? I mean, how old are you?
I'm 41.
41. I mean, I'm too young to even remember watching them play. Did you ever watch them play growing up?
I watched him play a little bit, yeah, but not a whole lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Unless you were a Mets fan, or just like a fanatic that happened to catch on to those guys. Um, but I mean, for me personally, all I'd ever heard about them was negative stuff. I
Mm.
mean, born 1990. Uh, by then, that's 5 years removed from them winning the World Series, and they still have some good years. But I'm an infant, you know.
Yeah.
So, by the time that I, got to watching baseball, you got Daryl Strawberry trying to make a comeback with the Yankees, and he did, and so did Doc Gooden with you're not far from a perfect game, but he pitched a no hitter for the Yankees in 1996 after he was, counted out with many, many, uh, drug I don't know what they call it, infractions where you get kicked out of the league. I mean, they literally, you know probably double digits. Like they really, got in a lot of trouble. And I'd only heard about their shortcomings.
Mm.
I had no idea that they were both the number one overall draft pick, both of them. I
Mm.
had no idea that they were both back to back rookie of the year. I had no idea. I had no idea that Doc Gooden was striking out 300 people in his minor league season before getting brought up to the majors, but having the rookie strikeout leader of all time, whatever it was, like 226 or something. So there was like an unbelievable amount of talent right then, and for about 5 years, but they made some poor decisions that led them down a pretty dark path that was ultimately, I mean, they came back from it, and they both won some World Series with the Yankees, but they'll never be in the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like that, you cannot come back from that. That when you dig your hole that deep, but you can have a comeback in life, and that it was the most special you know, plant or planted seed that Daryl gave to me while learning all about his story and the fact that that man goes around. I mean, his story involves a lot of religion, and I can't say that I'm too religious. Even in my recovery, I don't
Yeah.
follow the traditional recovery rules that a lot of them follow, and a lot of them are very religious.
Yeah.
Um, but if that's part of your faith, man, I'm all for it. And he goes around the country just preaching the good word and just spreading the faith while owning. I mean, I have no idea how many, but like a handful of his own rehab facilitations or facilities, should I say?
Yeah.
Uh, so I mean that takes a strong man to come back from all that stuff to still want to give back to other people, and and ironically, Doc Gooden is he's the flip of the coin, man. Like that dude is still messing up. That
Mm.
dude, he got like two DUIs in a week, like 3 years ago, something like that.
Got
So
it.
it's kind of like two examples of what life can be when when you go through those type of woes.
Right.
So that being said, one of my unique collections is collecting Doc Gooden and Daryl Strawberry.
Got it. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. So, what are some of the well, and I just want to say congrats, man, just on your sobriety. I just want to definitely say that and make sure I definitely get that message across.
Thanks, man.
And that's awesome. And I just appreciate you um even just taking the time to come on the show and just even share just even that part of your story as well. So
Absolutely, brother.
so what let me just go ahead and ask a different question. What are some of the funnest parts of this whole card art thing or anything related to the hobby that you've enjoyed?
It's funny, man. I was thinking of this fact today, and some artists they get sad to see their art go, because
Mm.
they form a connection with it. And to an extent, I do feel that same way on a number of my pieces. However, most of the time, I make pieces trying to sell them, right?
Right.
I'm not looking to make a beautiful piece that I love to collect my own artwork.
Mm.
So that being said, when I sell a piece of mine that I made, that's a very gratifying feeling. And then on the flip side of the coin, imagine selling, a high end card out of your PC. That doesn't feel too good.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That don't feel
No.
too
Yeah.
good. Like even like yeah, as a true collector, that don't
Yeah.
feel too good, man.
Right.
Like imagine this card right here, a nice little Ted Williams autograph. Even
Nice.
even if I sold this at a profit where I made twice what I paid for it, it wouldn't feel too good, man.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
you know what I'm saying? Like as a true collector,
Yeah.
so I think that to me is the biggest difference. Like that's the most gratifying thing. Because at first, I mean, in a way, it was always gratifying to make sales on cards, especially if it's for a profit,
Right.
and especially if it's at a time where you're in need and you have to pay rent and the whole world shuts down. So it's gratifying to an extent because you're listing them, you want them to sell, but when they sell, you formed a connection with this stuff, man. And to backtrack, we never really got into the cards that I collect, and here is one of my pride and joys right here. This is a Ronald Acuna 1 of 1 printing plate autograph.
Nice. That's awesome. One of
Yeah,
one, huh?
it's a 1 of 1 from 2019 Topps Chrome, and this is when they remade the 1984 Topps border. And
Nice.
at some point, I'd like to get the car that actually made. But it's funny. At the time I had got this other Instagram user into card collecting, and then he went out. I swear, he went out and bought his first box of Topps Chrome, and he pulled that his first box, like getting
Wow.
back into the hobby since being a kid, and the whole time I'm like, man, if you ever get rid of that thing, you better holler at your boy. And the problem is, he was the opposite of naive. He
Mm.
was super attached to it because that was his. I mean, like that. Like, I mean, could you imagine getting back into the hobby and pulling that?
Wow. That's awesome. That's
That's
crazy.
better. That's better than anything I've ever pulled in my life. And he just pulled in his first box casually. And so, dude, he had a price tag on it that was ridiculous, man. A price that no one would have ever paid. No one should have ever paid.
Yeah.
He's. I mean, I don't even want to get into to numbers, but he was just very attached to it. I mean, hell, I share that attachment now. you know,
Got
I
it.
share I share that same attachment to where, if anyone ever took that out of my hands, they'd be paying, way above retail. Because there is no retail. It's a 1 of 1 printing plate of his second year.
Right.
Uh, but I'll tell you what, you don't do it when he's injured. I'll tell you that much.
Mm.
No,
Yeah.
it's ironically, I had a card that I was selling that he really wanted at the time. It was a signed Derek Jeter rookie card, and it was one of those like high number ones, like the classic ones or whatever. And I think it had a price tag of around $300, and at the time, that kind of equated to making that deal. And safe to say that I don't value it at that price now. But
Nice.
yeah, yeah,
So,
and
oh,
then
go ahead.
last one, nice little Ronald Acuna rookie card. These are like the last of the Mohicans, man. For a while, before the pandemic hit, one of my collecting goals was with every one of my paychecks. People invest different ways. My way of investing was to buy a Ronald Acuna autograph, specifically autograph too. Like, it's super weird of me, I know. Like, I mean, most people don't even. I mean, autographs are just like a whole other form of collecting. It took a while for me to even fall back into love with actual like short prints and refractors. Like, at first I was really thinking like I'm just gonna get autographs of all my favorite players and yada yada. But now, I collect everything.
Got it. So, as far as selling cards, because you talked about how when you sell a card, obviously you build a connection with the person who buys it, and you enjoy that. That someone gets to kind of share in that. Maybe they're getting a card that you made is one of their favorite players. But how do you go about selling? Is it just on Instagram, or do you use any other platforms?
It's funny that you say that, man. At this time, it is just Instagram. At some point, I mean, I would love to have my own website. I feel kind of, um, I don't know, man, kind of lame not having a website. But as far as building that, I mean, it's not quite a face-to-face connection most of the time when you're interacting, but it is person to person.
Yeah.
And I mean, ever since I started my Instagram account, I mean, I haven't even sold a regular card on eBay. Like even when I was selling non-art related cards,
Yeah.
I preferred the method of dealing with a person to person type of atmosphere. And I mean, really, I have no complaints over that. I mean, I would, of course, there were times within the last 3.5 years where the hobby got real scammer heavy,
Mm.
and that will always be some type of issue within the community. But I mean, I've sold well over 300 art cards of mine personally, let alone, I mean, probably 1,000 to 1,500 somewhere in that ballpark. Number of transactions with cards, and if you want to ask how many times have I been scammed, I mean, probably 3 times. So
Mm.
you think of it in that regard, that's not too bad,
Yeah.
and none of them were very significant, like under $50. But it never, hey, I'll tell you, it never feels good. It never feels good, even when especially when you're in the thick of it.
Yeah.
And that's why people get real entertained with pages like Card Porn, where are you familiar with that page?
Yeah, I'm a little familiar with that. I've seen it before. Yeah.
A page that will like will post like the stupidest interactions of people
Mm.
dealing with buyers on eBay,
Yeah.
and and that stuff is entertaining because first off, you never want to be the one in that position,
True.
and when it's someone else dealing with it. But it's so interesting to see how quickly people take it to, I mean, it's a family friendly podcast, but they'll take it to F your mama and all this stuff, and it's like, man, like off square one, just like, hey man, are you gonna ship my card? Like, like just bad. I was like, what? It's mind
Yeah.
blowing.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
absolutely insane. But I really got to tell myself, man. A lot of the time, it's really just some skeevy 16-year-old. I'd like to hope so. I'd like to hope so, right?
Right.
Like 18-year-old, or someone that doesn't have enough life experience to know that that's not the ticket.
Right. Right. Well, let me think. What else do we want to talk about? Anything else that you want to kind of share just before we kind of wrap up? Anything at all?
Yeah, man. So you might see me rocking a Twins hat from time to time. And my buddy Devin Smeltzer, he actually pitches on the Twins. He's had quite a story, and he overcame having cancer as a child, age
Oh,
9.
wow.
Yeah, I'm talking. I mean, they set him up with Make a Wish, like it wasn't looking good,
Hmm.
and uh, and I'll send you this clip after we're done talking. They set him up with Make a Wish with the Phillies. He's a big Phillies fan. Lived in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, and he went and he got to meet like Cole Hamels and Chase Utley, like those type of
Hmm.
players. And he's 9 years old, man. He's bald, going through chemo, getting his hat signed by Chase Utley, and then fast forward like 12 years later, he's on the same team as Chase Utley, playing with him on
Wow.
the.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I don't think he ever played MLB, but he was in the Dodgers organization while Chase Utley was their second baseman, and there was like a real heartfelt moment of them like reconnecting. But that being said, man, he's got his own charity foundation called Catch Cancer Looking, which helps benefit families that are undergoing, pediatric cancer within their household.
Hmm.
And as you can imagine, man, those are some hefty expenses dealing with chemo and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm actually continuing, like it's kind of like a part two of what we called the Smelter Project, and for the time being, we're gonna make it every other week, and I do my auctions on Fridays. I always do an auction. It's almost never my work. I try to get a spotlight on other artists that I enjoy, seeing their art and putting some shine on them. But I'm gonna do it bi-weekly where I do my normal auctions, and then every other week I'm gonna do an auction for the Smelter project. And at the moment, they're all one of one cards that card artists have made of his 2019 Topps Update rookie card, and all and 100% of the proceeds are going to his organization, and he signed them and all that kind of stuff. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And at a certain time, we might tie in doing other players,
Mm,
making other players, and still giving back to that foundation. um, I mean, everyone has their way of giving back. At least I'd like to think so.
right,
I
right.
think about it. There probably are people that literally don't, but a lot of people have their way of giving back, and I like to pick the most. I don't know, man. The best way to make me, I guess everyone wants to feel good about themselves, right? Like that. I guess something like that makes me feel better. That you know, rather than donating to save the whales, which is I'm sure a very just foundation, or
Right.
like or UNICEF or something like that, where you have kind of no idea where your stuff is going.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we got that going on, and yeah, we've done a lot of cool stuff with card art. At one point, um, one of our buddies, his car got stolen. In fact,
Mm,
I think it was his wife or his fiance. She went in on her day off and got her car stolen. Or went into, like, she got called in on her day off, should I say?
yeah.
And man, for some reason that just like it struck a chord with me, especially at the time. And I knew that I couldn't, just buy him a card. Yeah, I mean, I don't even have a car myself. So I figured I have this platform, and again, talk about card killer. He and I had come, and in fact, this is his concept. I just execute it with him. Called We do this thing called a mayhem break, and we'll buy a box of cards. In this case, it was Optic from 2018, so it
Yeah.
wouldn't have like Otani rookies. It would have had Ozzy Albies, Gleyber Torres, all that kind of stuff. And so we did the mayhem break, and that involves drilling holes in the packs.
Wow.
So say there's, whatever there is. Say there's like 8 packs, right? There's
Okay.
4 cards in each pack. We he drills a hole in all of them, and then he'll gold leaf them. He'll gold leaf it with his name, and then whatever the mayhem break was called. I think that one was called hashtag We Got You, and we did. I think it was like $50 a spot, and everyone was guaranteed to get a card from this, right? And it was
Yeah.
gold leaf, and there was an upgrade option to where I think you could pay, instead of $50 for a spot, it was like $100 a spot or something like that, and you
Yeah.
would get that, and you would get it embellished, so it's
Mm,
more than just getting gold leafed and signed and all that. And this is an example of what one of the embellished cards looks like.
wow.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, it is crazy.
So you see the hole in it?
Yeah, I see it on the left side, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is like the moment of impact where the card is.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah, so For I think Card Killer and I had done like one or two on our own where we did that, and for this one we didn't take a cut. We decided to put it all towards getting our boy a car,
Wow.
and I think there was like 35 spots, and we ended up getting like 30 of them filled, and then he ended up he ended up making. I think this was one of the extra ones. He made one for me and one for Card Killer. And should I say, instead of having Card Killer do the embellishments, we had our buddy. He goes by the name of Blender of Zombie. His name is Chris, but he goes by Blender of Zombie as his art
Mhm.
name, and he's also an artist. So we
Okay.
tied him into the project, kind of just like looking out for our own community,
Yeah.
and and it kind of helped us by helping him because he was able to do his thing to these cards rather than adding a whole heap of work for Card Killer to one of one all of these things. And can you see the gold leafing up there?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. Wow.
Let me see if I can show you an example of what like a basic one would look like. Say you got a little stand going. Say you bought a spot in the break and you didn't get one of the embellished spots, right? It would look like this. It just have a big ass, or a big old hole on it,
Yeah.
and it has man, it's hard to get that glare out.
Yeah, I
Um,
can see it right in the middle.
yeah, it got the hole, and then it's just got the gold leaf, and it's got the 101. So yeah, I mean, whether you got it embellished or not, it was just kind of cool to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It was pretty exciting. Yeah. So it was a beautiful thing, man, to have a clear example to prove that card art is just so much bigger than any one of us.
Yeah. Wow. That's
Um,
cool.
I would love to take a second to show off some art from other artists, if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. I set aside, a very small, very modest stack of some of my favorite pieces, and it really is tough to pick a few because I probably have 150 pieces from other artists.
Wow.
So this one has a very unique story, man. It's got a autograph from Steve Young on it.
Right. That looks awesome. That looks really cool.
Yeah, my buddy Mike made this. His name is at Card Art Syndicate, and the story behind this, man, I served Steve Young at the comedy club that I worked at, and this was from the receipt that he signed.
Wow. Wow. That's funny. Wow.
He ended up signing it twice, so I cut off the bottom part, which I asked for permission. Uh, dude, I cut it off, man, and had him make this. And this, I mean, this is pretty close to priceless for me as far as card art goes. And
Yeah.
then same artist made this one. And to speak on a quick part of his process, he does something called image transferring, and he will print something. I think on maybe on like on like a clear piece of paper, iridescent or whatever. He'll print on or maybe I think it might even be like a high gloss paper. He'll
Okay.
print and then he'll take this type of tape, some type of image transferring, like real sturdy adhesive tape, and it takes the image off of the paper, and then he puts it back on this like chrome metallic refractory material, and it comes out looking like this.
Wow.
I
Wow.
mean,
That's crazy.
good luck trying to copy that formula, right?
Exactly.
So that's a couple from him. And I know you're familiar with Sharkbait, right? You had him
Yeah.
on recently.
Yeah.
Man, this is a piece that he made.
Nice. Big Kobe fan.
Yo, he really is though, isn't he?
Yeah, no, I am too.
Oh, you are.
Oh, yeah,
Who isn't? Jesus
I know.
Christ.
That's really cool.
And hey, I will say this, man. It's no secret, but like with the auctions that I run, dude, anytime I run a Kobe piece, say good night, dude. I mean, of course I always pick cool stuff. But if I picked, 10 players, equally cool cards, and one of them's Kobe, that Kobe's gonna sell for a lot more.
Yeah,
Uh, so anytime I can fit in a cool Kobe, I like to do so. But I also, it's funny. I also try not to, look too Kobe heavy on my auctions. So it's a internal battle, I guess, if you will. And then here's another shark bait piece. He made this one special for me, and this one was made out of a sepia refractor. Pretty sweet.
wow, that's really cool. I like the colors on that one.
Yeah, no doubt. And he made his own border, I believe, just like a flat black, and it looks really sick with it.
Yeah,
And then here is another cool one, man. This is Hen was Henry Rowan Gardner from Rookie of the Year.
yeah,
Man, this was made by an artist named C.J. Smith, and for some reason, man, I I am super attached to this card. I'll never forget, my mom coming home with two VHS tapes. One of them was Rookie of the Year, and then one of them was Angels in the Outfield. I was
mhm,
probably like 6 or 7, and man, we just replayed those VHSs so many times. But yeah, as far as card art goes, there's that. And then the last thing I'd like to show off, if you don't mind, is some of the comedian autographs that I've gotten over the time.
yeah. Cool. Let's check it out.
All right, and then one more piece. This is from Final Cuts of the Riddler, should I say, not the Joe.
Riddler, nice.
All right, so this one I had drawn up, and this is of Bender, the voice of Bender, John Dimaggio.
Got it. Wow,
That one's sweet, right?
that's cool.
I had this one made and signed by T.J. Miller. Got a nice signature on that. Are you familiar with Bert Kreischer at all?
I don't think I am. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't want to lie. So, I don't think so.
I appreciate that. Way, whew, very funny, very talented. One of the top comedians in the world, top 10 easily. But
Yeah,
he does have an Allen and Ginter card, and I bought a relic of him, and I got it signed and
nice,
got it slabbed at National last year. Um, yeah, I showed you the Pauly Shore one. And then this last one I actually bought, and I bought it after he passed away. Just I wanted to get one before they got too hard to come by. But a nice sticker auto of Gilbert Gottfried.
nice.
Yeah, man. But that's about it, man. I don't know if you had any other questions that you wanted to ask, brother.
No, we're already at that 1 hour mark. So I just really want to say thanks and really just appreciate you taking the time. And look, it sounds like you definitely do a lot to kind of give back to kind of just the card art community, if that's what you want to call it. So I just really appreciate that. And I just definitely want to say congrats again on just your sobriety as well, and appreciate you just being just humble enough to even share about that. Um, but
Appreciate it,
yeah, I
man.
think yeah, no problem. I think that's pretty much it for tonight, man. It was awesome. Again, I really, really appreciate it, and I just want to say good luck to all your projects and goals that you have in the future. So
Thank you, man. And I look forward to checking out your YouTube videos and seeing how how your growing process comes to be, and Are you planning on going to national this next year?
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go. I was kind of up and down trying to figure it out. But I don't think it's gonna work out with my work schedule. So I most likely won't be there. But I guess there's always next year. So
Yeah, right on, man. It's funny. I'm not 100% committed at the moment either,
yeah,
but I am hopeful.
nice.
Uh, but yeah, was gonna say maybe we could shake hands there, but either way, man, I'm sure we'll shake hands at some point. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll
I
find a
look
time.
absolutely, man. I look forward to watching your content grow, brother.
All right, appreciate it, man. You have a good one. You take care.
You too, man. Very nice talking to you.
Hey, you too.